I will talk about aggregates, which is still a hot topic in domain-driven design. And the thing is that an aggregate is defined as something inside a boundary, something that changes in time, and that has to be isolated from the rest. So what is inside has to be consistent and handled correctly, change requested. So we have change request here. And it has to be autonomous. It doesn't have to rely on the rest, because the thing is that it should be consistent on its own. So information from the outside and what happens outside doesn't have to be known exactly at the moment where the change happens. So this presentation of aggregate is quite sound in its presentation in relation to distributed programming and things like that, but it doesn't give much about the shape and the way to implement it and to run it. So over the year, I came up with a notion of a decider. So this is a name different from an aggregate, but actually this is quite easy to take any aggregate and write it as a decider, and any decider will be by definition also an aggregate. So just a specific form for an aggregate. And so a decider is running like this. Some of you will recognize the schema. We have a command, which is a request for change that arrive here. And to take a decision, we need, if we don't have state, we will only be able to take the same decision each time a command arrives. So we need state here to know what happens, okay? And so with the state here, what we do is that based on a command on the state, we will decide what happens. So this is here a stage which is called decide. And we will get some events which will say this happened and this happened. And to be ready to take the next command, we have an evolution function, evolve, which take an event and a state, like that, and return the new state. So here, first part is to decide what happens. The second part is to change the system. And then we can just connect part like that, okay? And we will be able to run. Any aggregates can be written this way if it's isolated enough, because you just take the part where you decide what happens, the if and all that, and you just put everything you need to do the actual change in a structure that you can call events. After that, you can do more domain-driven design to understand what this event is. But to start, you can just take the code, and instead of doing if this and that change the state, just put this change in a data structure and isolate the state change to another function, and then you apply the change in the evolve function. Okay, so any aggregate can be changed to this form. And the thing also is that you will need an initial state. Okay, this is the state of your system before any of this part of this aggregate before anything happens. Okay, and something very interesting with that is that it can be written as two functions: a function decide, which takes a command and a state and returns some events. Okay, I put just the initial of the type. We have an evolution function, evolve, which take a state and an event and return a state. Okay, so this structure can be called a decider, and it will be generic on command, event. Oops, this is not an arrow, and state, like that. So for any command, event, and state type, we can define this structure, and we have the initial state, which is a state. Okay, so this is totally generic. And for instance, there is a way to run this thing, which says we load the state from the database. We take the command from the API, we call decide with both values, we get a list of events, and then we call for each event evolve to compute the new state, and we save the state in the database. Okay, so okay, some people recognize event sourcing, but you don't have to run this as event sourcing. You can just load and save as usual in the database. It's working also. Okay, but one of the interesting property of this is that one of the limits usually with aggregates is that once you do a lot of small aggregates, you tend to try to run them in isolation. So you try to have things like actors or asynchronous processing for each, and sometimes it becomes a bit complicated to run all those autonomous parts when actually you wanted something simple, because you have low volumes, and running a distributed system is more complex than running a synchronous one and a local one. And sometimes I've seen some people grouping aggregates together to reduce the complexity of running the thing. Okay, so something I found is that you can actually take two deciders and combine them. It's really easy. The thing is that you have two sets of commands, C1 and C2, and you can just create a new group, which is the union of both, the command for one and the command for the other. You can also do the same thing with events. You just group the events of both, okay? And for the state, what you do is that you will do a product, you will do a pair, the state of the first one and the state of the other. So here, this will be OR, and for the state, this will be state 1 and state 2, okay? Just two fields in a class, for instance. And then your decide function is very simple. It says, when I receive a command, if it's the first one, I will take the state of the first one and call the decide function of the first one and get even of the first one, which are even of the union, okay? And for the evolution, you can take the full state and an event. You see that it's an event for the first one, so you take the state for the first one, and then you will call the evolution function from the first one and get the state for the first one, and then you can just change the state for the first one and keep the state for the second. And your initial state will be just initial state of the first one and the initial state of the second. So now I can take two deciders and create a decider that is bigger, that has exactly the same shape as the other. So I can run it exactly, I can take two deciders and run them as one without going distributed and all that. So it makes testability far easier. It makes runtime far easier. And this is a general composition for things that change in time, which is something that is quite interesting. Thank you for listening to me.